justified.
A Minnesota judge has sentenced Mohammed Noor, a former Minneapolis police officer, to 12.5 years in prison for the shooting death of Justine Rustrek-Damond, a dual U.S.-Australian citizen who was gunned down in the alley behind her home after she had called 911 to report a possible rape. The sentence that was handed down by Judge Kathleen Quaintance was exactly what Minnesota's sentencing guidelines recommended: 12.5 years for third-degree murder.
This is unfair. No justice. We want justice.
Under Minnesota law, you have to serve normally 2/3 of that time in prison and then 1/3 of it on supervised release. And assuming good behavior while he's in prison, he could be released in about 8 years, and he'll get credit for a time served since he was convicted. The court heard several emotional victims' impact statements from family members of Damond. They heard from her fiance, Don Damond, who spoke about the loss that he suffered in this and how his life is always going to be changed because of that.
It leaves me sad.
He apologized for what happened and said that he can't apologize enough. He said that he continues to live with this, the burden of this, and that he wishes that he could relieve the burden of this from the others who are suffering it, from the victims' families, but he realizes he cannot, and that's a troubling reality for him.
Seeing her there, I knew in an instant that I was wrong. The depth of my error has only increased from that moment on.
When he was listening to the statements from the victims' families, he kept his eyes closed and his hands clasped together in front of him at the table. It was clear that he was listening, but he was not watching.
There will be many cases after this that a white officer kills a black kid. It will happen. Then what are you going to do? Because now you set a precedent saying that if you kill someone, you'll be prosecuted, you'll go to jail. Are you going to do the same thing to those cops? Because we're not going to forget. Tomorrow we're going to demand the same justice the victim got for other black kids. Are you going to give us the same justice?